Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial on VAT Basics in Dynamics NAV or Navision. I'll be doing this video, which will be a basic introduction or tutorial on how to handle VAT in NAV, and the next video will be an advanced tutorial on how to use the advanced features. So in this video I'm going to go through how to create VAT posting groups. I'll show you how to set up the VAT posting setup. I'll show you how to create a new customer and new vendor and new item using these new posting groups. And then I'll show you how to post a sale and post a purchase and look at the the VAT implications of this purchase and this sale. Actually, we are also going to have a look at the VAT GL entries. So the entries being recorded into your chart of accounts, or more specifically the VAT onto the VAT accounts. And then finally we're going to have a look at how to report VAT at month end. So the key word down here in reporting VAT at month end, the two words to take notice of are the VAT Statement and VAT Settlement, like this. So let's get started. First thing we need to do is to create a new vendor. And I will click New. New button is not available, so we'll just open a vendor and find it here. Anyways, new vendor here, and I will call this O domestic for domestic, DOM for domestic, and we'll give that something similar, domestic here. So that's that, and then we need to, in order for it to post correctly, it needs to have a general business posting group. The general business posting group is not part of this tutorial, but I have other videos which explains how this is set up and how this is used. You can have a look at the posting groups video, and you can also have a look at this setting up a new company video. The next field we need to set up here is the VAT business posting group, but as I just mentioned, I'm going to set up everything related to VAT from scratch. So instead of choosing one that has already been set up, I'm going to choose new. And we're going to call that O domestic. The O is just everything I'm making in this video. I have the prefix of O so that it's easily identifiable. So we do O domestic, like this, and we choose that one. Next we need to set up the vendor posting group, and I'm just gonna choose one that I have already created. This is also not part of the this tutorial, but you can see it also in my other videos. So this really does it for setting up the vendor. So let's see if we can, actually we need to create an item before we can purchase it. So let's just go to items here. And here in the items, I'll create a new item, and I will also create this with the prefix of O and call it, let's just call it O book. O book, like this. And this is sold in pieces. And then to the invoicing tab, I'm going to set up the general product posting group. Also, this will be explained in other videos. And the VAT product posting group, I will create a new one. And I'll create this with the prefix of O. And let's call it normal, for normal VAT. O normal, like this. And inventory posting group also covered in other videos. There we go. So now we should be able to create a purchase invoice. You could also create a purchase order. but we are going to create purchase invoices. So we just give this purchase invoice any random number because I haven't set up number series, and then we will choose the vendor that we just created, O domestic, and we will. I have set the working date, by the way, to the 9th of June, and we will create the first line here with the item that we just created, like this, and we also had that as a prefix of O. And here we get the first error message. The VAT Posting Setup does not exist. Identification fields and values, VAT Business Posting Group ODOM and ONormal. So what this is really saying is that in the window VAT Posting Setup, I being NAV, I cannot find a line with the combination of ODOM and ONormal. So we need to go and set this up before we can continue. I'm just going to pull this purchase invoice aside so we can return to it afterwards. So we need to go into the VAT Posting Setup. So we'll do that. And quite correct, as Nav just said, there is no line with ODOM and ONormal. So we do not have a line where the VAT Business Posting Group is ONormal. Actually, it's ONormal first. No, ODOM here and ONormal here. So we need to set up a new line, and we do that by clicking New. So we needed one called ODOM for O Domestic in VAT Business Posting Group. Also, the word business is the same as to say customer or vendor. So you set up one. The VAT business posting groups are shared between the customers and the vendors. So whenever you see business like this, it could also have been called VAT vendor/customer posting group, but it's called business posting group. So we needed to set up a line where we combine the VAT business posting group ODOM with the VAT product posting group ONormal. And if we click OK, we've got the line now. So if we were to go back to this purchase invoice, we would not get this error message anymore. We would probably get another error message because we haven't set up VAT and we haven't set up sales, VAT account and other things. So in order to avoid that, I'm just going to edit this line again. And we would like NAV to calculate 20% VAT. And we would like NAV to book any sales VAT when we're dealing with customers to this account, and when we are purchasing stuff or booking purchases, we want NAV to post to this account, this one. So this looks better now. So if we go back to our invoice here, probably we'll need to remove this line and just put it in one more time. Item, number, and it had a prefix of O, so the book here. We are not getting an error message, so far so good. And let's say we would like to buy one of those. We would also like to indicate a price, and unit cost is without VAT. If you see that this unit cost field says including VAT, usually you like it to be without VAT. That's the normal way of working, but sometimes you will see that it says unit cost including VAT, and the way to change this is to go to your vendor, O Domestic, edit here, and go to this field here, prices including VAT. But this is not the case. So we're happy with this 100 pounds or dollars before VAT. So this purchase invoice is now ready to post. But just before we post it, it would be nice to see what kind of VAT it has calculated. We would like it to have calculated 20% because that's what we specified in this field here. So the way we can verify that is by going into this button called Statistics, and we can see that the total without VAT is 100, and we have a total of, for the 20% VAT, it has calculated 20. So the total amount that we are going to be that we have to pay to our vendor is 120. Of course, we can get the 20 of those back in from the VAT authorities. But this looks fine, so we'll post it. Vendor invoice number must have a value. So we basically just says that something must be put into this field. So I'm just going to put something in that one. All right, let's see what that had of implications. So if you go to posted purchase invoice, posted purchase invoices, and let's see if we can find this one. The disadvantage of not indicating a number series is that it could potentially be anywhere, but it's up here. Oh, damn. So let's have a look at this posted purchase invoice. If you double click that, you will see that this is the purchase invoice we just posted. So if you click navigate, well, you can start by clicking statistics and having a look at your VAT here. It all looks fine, $20 or pounds. And then you can click navigate to have another look at some more VAT implications. Firstly, we have our GL entries, and one of these 5 entries into the GL is a VAT entry. And most likely it is this one. Well, it is this one, and it's worth $20, and it has booked into this account 2030, which is called purchase VAT. And the reason it found this 2030 is because we set it up in the, I have just closed the VAT setup window, but I'm just going to open it again. Is because we specified the account here. So what happened when we clicked post on that purchase invoice? NAV knows which VAT business posting group this was related to because the item on the line had been set up to, because the vendor had been set up to use this ODOM business posting group, and the item on the line had been set up to use this ONormal. So when we clicked post, NAV went into this VAT posting setup and went on to look or hunting for the correct line. And the line that it knows it needed to find was this line. And then it started looking outwards here. It realized that it is posting a purchase transaction, and that's why it picks up this account. It also uses this, this to calculate the percentage. But in terms of booking into the GL, this is the account it used. So let's just close that down again and go back to our GL entries. So this is why it's booked into 2030. If we go back to the navigate window here from our, I'm just gonna close that one down again and go into it again. So we were on our posted purchase invoice and we clicked navigate, and we just looked at the GL entries. So the next thing we can look at here is the VAT entry. And the VAT entry is a separate archive of entries, and you always get one entry per VAT combination. You can get multiple per sales invoice or purchase invoice if you have different VAT posting groups. But in this case, because we just had one line, we just have one VAT entry. So what this VAT entry says is that it has entry number 69. It was booked with VAT Posting Business Posting Group of ODOM and the Product Posting Group of O Normal. It was booked on this date, and it was a purchase VAT. The amount before VAT was 100 and the VAT amount was 20. So this is something we're going to be using when we report VAT in a little while. So let's close this one down. You can also see just before we close it that this is not closed yet. This will make sense when we have reported our monthly VAT. So let's close that one down. So that does it so far for the purchase. So let's see if we can get that O-book sold. So let's go into we need a customer. And we need to click new. Again, we cannot see the new button, so we can find it here. So a new customer. We're going to give it the prefix of O one more time. And domestic, and let's just call it customer so that we are absolutely sure what we're looking at. And ODOM. ODOM customer, like this. So also on the invoicing tab here, we need the general business posting group, domestic. And the next thing we need to set up here is the VAT business posting group. So as I explained before, the word business really is another word for customer or vendor. So this is why when we created our VAT business posting group before from the vendor card, we also now have it available on the customer card. So it's called ODOM here. Next we need to indicate the customer posting group, and you can watch the other videos for an explanation about this one. So domestic, like that. So now we've got our customer, and this means we should be able to book a sales invoice. So we'll click new and give this, let's just give it a number we can recognize. So I just gave it a random number. It doesn't matter because I'm not using any number series. So on this sales invoice, I'm going to choose the customer that we just created, and we will be selling the same book as we purchased before. So the book had a prefix of O, and we will be selling one of those. Oops, like this. And let's say we sell it for £200 or dollars or whatever. And once again, you can go into the, first of all, this the price here is excluding VAT, so it's before VAT, and you can go in here and see what VAT NAV has calculated. So once again, NAV has identified the same line in the, well, first of all, NAV has calculated $40 or pounds, which is 20% of 200. And the reason it has calculated that is because we set it up in the VAT Posting Setup. So again, NAV has identified this line because our customer belongs to the VAT Business Posting Group ODOM, and the product that we're selling belongs to the VAT Product Posting Group of Normal. So it has identified this line, and then it has concluded that it needed to calculate 20% VAT. And that is why when we do the statistics on this sales order, we see that it has calculated 20% VAT. So 20% of 200 is 40. So let's go ahead and get this sales invoice posted. There we go. And let's have a look at what implications this has had. So it would be found in posted sales invoices. And I believe this was the one, ODOM customer. let's have a closer look at this one. Our O-book has been sold for £200, and we can verify this with the statistics once again with the 40 pounds or dollars of VAT. So if we navigate on this one, we will see something similar as we did with the purchases. We'll see some GL entries where the VAT entry here has been booked through an account 2020. And once again, just in order to be consistent, I will show you VAT post setup. I will show you why it has found account 2020. Well, it found this line, and the sales, when it's doing sales transactions, it's been instructed to use the account 2020. And that is what it has done down here in the GL ledger entries. It has booked 40 pounds or dollars into the account 2020. The next thing we can look at from this navigate menu from the posted sales invoice is the VAT entry. I'm just going to close this down and re-enter it so you can see how. So we are on the posted sales invoice and we click navigate. And the VAT entry here shows us, well, first of all, if you recall, the previous one we just did with the purchase was 69, so now the next one in the row is 70. We can also see which VAT product and business posting group it has been posted with, and we can see that it's a kind of VAT which is a sale, and that the before VAT was 200, or the excluding VAT is 200, and that the VAT amount is 40. So that really did it for booking the purchases and booking the sales. So let's go and have a look at all the VAT entries. VAT entries here. And we can identify the two last ones as the ones that we have just done. We can even set a filter for the month of June here, because these should be the only two sales and purchases we've done in June. So let me just do that. Posting date. Like this. And 30 of June in 2015. Maybe there is... No. Sorry about that. Not always very good on the amount of days in the different months. But anyways, we can see now these two VAT lines. And assuming that our company has not had any more transactions, any more purchases, and any more sales, this would really be what we need to report to the tax authorities. We can also see that we need to get 20 pounds back from the tax authorities due to the purchase, but we have to pay them even more, which is 40, due to the sale. So in total, we would have to pay them $20 or pounds. So how do we? This, of course, is very, very easy when we only have two transactions. We could just just do it in our head. But if we have 20,000 transactions or even 200 transactions, and maybe we have some different kinds of VAT, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So there is some functionality in NAV which you can set up once, and you can then use that to report your VAT every month. And the ambition is that reporting VAT should not take more than 5-10 minutes every time you have to do it. So the functionality that you are going to be using is something called VAT Statements. So going in here to the VAT statements, we're going to create a new VAT statement, and we're going to call it also O statement. a little bit too long, so it's just going to be called O state. That's good enough. Statement, like that. Okay, so let's just click OK, and we can see that we now have it here. So edit this VAT statement, and I'll just show you very quickly how to set it up, and you will soon realize what the purpose of it is. So the first row here we'll call 10, and we call that sales VAT. We would like it to look at the VAT entries, and this one must contain all the VAT lines with the type of sale. It must also contain those that have been created with VAT Business Posting Group ODOM and VAT Product Posting Group of ONormal. And in the amount type here, we want the amount. So the amount really is the VAT. If you chose base, you would get the amount before VAT. So this should actually be it for this line. And we will do another one and call this 20 and call this purchase VAT. Once again, we wanted to look at our VAT entries, and we wanted to be the type of purchase. And we're going to use the domestic and the normal, so the same VAT business and product posting groups. And once again, we want to look at the amount. So this is a setup that you only have to do once. Now we can preview this statement. And if we preview it, we will see that we have it has summarized the total of all our sales within these matching these posting groups and these criteria, and it has also summarized all of our purchase VAT. Sometimes if you run this, you will have to just make sure that you can see that these three fields, the open, the include VAT entries, and the date filter have been set up. And even sometimes you would have to specify exactly what date filter you want to look at. So we're looking at June right now, so it would have to be like this, 30. It doesn't make any sense because any difference because we already were able to see it. But just if you cannot see it, put in a date interval here and make sure that that this one is set to before and within. That should show all entries. If you click one of these, you will also see the total of the ones that it has used to summarize these. So this will really be your foundation for reporting VAT. If you wanted to, you could imagine that you had many different kinds of lines here, all the way going down, because the actual VAT reporting is a little bit more difficult, more complex, or more advanced, or more detailed than just one sales VAT and one purchase VAT. Sometimes you have some foreign VAT, sometimes you have some reverse charge VAT, sometimes you have to report specific individually or specifically for gas and electricity and so on. But this is the fundamental functionality of the VAT statements. I'll just show you how to summarize these two lines with a third line. So if you close this one and make a third line here, call it 30, we will call this total. And what we wanted to be in type is row totaling. So as we wanted to make a total of these two lines, we're going to, in row total, to say that we wanted to specify or include the row number 10, and we wanted to include row number 20 as well, like this. So if we preview this again, it will say 20. And the really nice thing about this, assuming that your VAT reporting requirements were this easy, the only thing you would have to do each month is to go in here and run it, set your date, and then you would have to read down here, and this would be what you would report. So in order to actually report it, there's another functionality besides this VAT statement. Just for the record, in my advanced VAT video, I'm going to include many other kinds of VAT and elaborate on this statement. So in order to close off your month-end procedures regarding VAT, we have a batch job called Calculate and Post VAT Settlement. And if we click this one and have a look at it, the easiest way to demonstrate how it works is to really to run it. But before we checkmark post here, I'm just going to uncheck this, and then I'm going to set the end date to not the end of May, but the end of June. Usually you should not have any start date here. And we're also going to set the posting date to the end of June. So the posting date, the difference between these two date fields is that the end date, these two fields indicate what VAT transactions should be included in the calculation, and this one indicates on which date you want to post all of those changes. And what changes is this going to make? Well, let's just give it a document number, well, and a settlement account. So the settlement account is going to be the account that it's going to post to. And what this batch job does is that it empties all of the VAT accounts and puts the total down here. So you want to be able to have a gross total of how much you need to pay to the tax authorities. And that is done by emptying all of the accounts, all of the VAT, not the equity, but all the VAT accounts above here and putting the difference down here. So that is why we need to indicate this account called VAT owed to VAT authorities. You could sometimes it's also or more. It's actually usually called VAT settlement account, as is also indicated here. So if we just preview this without running or without posting, we'll just have a look at what it shows us. It shows us that it has found some purchase VAT worth 100 before VAT and $20 or pounds worth of VAT. And regarding sale, it has found 40. So the total is minus 20 that will be posted to this settlement account, which is in accordance with what I just explained before when we were looking at the VAT entries, that we need to pay the tax authorities £20 or $20. So if we rerun this batch job here, and this time we're going to click post, it will make some changes to our GL. So preview. Would you like to calculate and post the VAT settlement? Yes, please. Okay, we get the same screenshot here, but it has also done some posting. So if we close this and go back to VAT entries, we will see all the way down here in the bottom, we will see we have two new lines. Usually it summarizes all the purchase VAT and all the sales VAT in one line. So you will not get one line per transaction. But what has happened here is that, I'll just make this slightly bigger, is that it has identified all the unclosed entries, and it has put all of those together, and then it has booked those to the VAT settlement account. So Before running this batch job, maybe I should have drawn the attention to the fact that before running this batch job, these two lines here, which was the purchase we did and the sales we did, they were open, or there was no check mark here. So what the batch job did was, because we didn't specify a starting period, but we had that open, it looked through all these VAT lines and it searched for those that had no check mark here. And all of those that had no check mark, meaning that they were still open, would be included in this batch job. So let's also go to the GL entries and see what has happened. Actually, a good way to go to the GL entries is to go to the G register, GL registers here, and we go all the way down to the bottom. The GL registers shows you everything that's been posted into your chart of accounts. And we can see that it has made some postings here. So let's go and have a look at what has happened. Well, first you can see that this VAT statement that we posted, which is this line here, has created 3 GL entries. It's created GL entry 393, 94, all the way up to 95. So 93, 94, 95. And if we click here, or over there for that matter, but if we click here and say advanced, we can see those 3 lines here in the chart as our GL entries. So these are GL ledger entries that have been booked into our chart of accounts. The first one up here is a booking into or posting into our purchase VAT account. The second one is a posting into our sales VAT, and the third one is a posting into our settlement account. And what has happened is that it has reduced or brought down the VAT on the purchase VAT. It has brought that down to 0. It has brought down the sales VAT to 0, and then it has booked the difference here on the statement account. So you should see, after you have run this batch job, that all of your VAT accounts are 0, except the one called statement here, which indicates how much you need to pay to your authorities, or maybe get back if you haven't made a lot of sale but have only had purchases. You can also see this if you go into the chart of accounts and look at your VAT accounts here. We can see that right now our sales account is 0, our purchase account is 0, but our VAT owed to VAT authorities actually has a balance. It is not 20 because we have some other VAT from previous periods, but if we set a filter so that we will if we set a limit totals to filter, so that it will only in this total it will only include GL entries from June. Let's just see what happens then. Here, posting date filter, and let's say the 1st of June 2015 up until the 30th of June 2015. What we will see is that it is now 20, and actually we probably would be able to get something a little bit even better if you just reduce this filter and set it a little bit back so it doesn't include this one. Let's set it to 25. Yeah, if we set it to 25, we can see that we actually have had some sales VAT and purchase VAT here, but yeah, the logical thing would be to include it so we can see all of June. Alright, so in the next transaction here, I'm going to show you how to book a purchase electricity bill from a domestic supplier where the VAT is 5. So you have received a bill from your electricity supplier and you need to book this in. And the VAT needs to be handled correctly with 5%. So I'll show you how this is booked and how you set up the different setups, and I will also push through this or post this purchase invoice, and then we will have a look at the VAT entries and see how we can get to the end of this and treat it with the VAT settlement batch job and simulate the month end and treatment of this VAT invoice. So also, as was the case before, I'm just gonna dive into it, and we're going to meet a lot of obstacles, and we will get some error messages, but I will show you how to handle those error messages and how to do the setup when we get stuck. So let's assume we just received this purchase invoice and we want to go and book it. So we write purchase invoices here and click purchase invoices and new. And the first thing we need to just give it this a random number, and then we need to select the vendor. Let's assume that we actually received this this purchase invoice or this electricity bill from the same supplier as we used before. For some reason they can do both books and electricity. So it was O domestic here, and and this looks all fine. So the next thing we want to do is we want to put this electricity on the lines. But this is not an item, so we're not going to choose item here. We're going to choose, we're not going to choose item, we're going to choose GL account. So we'll click here. And next we have to select our GL, our electricity, the account in our chart of accounts, which is used for booking electricity cost. So we click here, and we scroll down, and this is where we meet the first obstacle, because we don't have an electricity account in our cost account. So we need to create a new one. So we click new here, and we would like to give it a number so that it fits in, and I think 4,120 should be about right, and we call this electricity. It is an income statement, it's not a balance sheet account, it can be used for both debit and credit, and it's a posting. And we also need to set up some posting groups here, but let's wait for the error messages to appear. So we click OK, and we tap, and here we go, first error message. The VAT posting setup does not exist. Identification fields, ODOM, and blank, this means blank, or it means no posting group. So this posting setup does not exist. But before we go and add a line, actually what we want is we want to change this from blank to something. So let's just go back into this account and look at the VAT product posting group. Advanced. And we will click edit, and we will actually see that there is no VAT product posting group, and that's why the error message back here was referring to the blank field here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have a VAT product posting group which can handle this particular VAT situation of 5%. So clicking down here, we need to create a new one. I just did a little bit of rehearsing, so I created one called M5%, and we're going to create a similar one just with the O prefix. So because the O belongs to our little case here. So we're going to click new, and O/5%. It's not always correct to use 5% here because you could use this to, you could combine this 5% with all kinds of percentages. I'm not going to get into that right now because it's probably just going to be more confusing than helpful. But for now we're going to call this 05% and 05% like this. We will click enter here, and now this GL account electricity 4120 has been set up with a VAT product posting group of 05. So let's go OK and OK. And in order to make NAV realize that we just make this change, we have to, I'll just copy this, copy, and then we'll delete it and tap out of it and then put it in back again. Then NAV will re-evaluate it. Now it actually comes with another error message, and it's saying the VAT posting setup does not exist. Identification fields between the VAT business posting group of ODOM and VAT product posting group of 0.05%. So the error message we had before, it said blank, but now it realizes that it's actually this VAT product posting group. So let's look at this error message. What it's saying is that the VAT posting setup does not exist. So let's go to the VAT posting setup and see if that in fact does not exist. So VAT posting setup, it's saying that we don't have a row with ODOM and 05%. We have an ODOM, but not an ODOM 5%. So we need to make an ODOM 5% because that's what it needs to use for this particular VAT situation. So we click New, and we need an ODOM and an 05%. And we agreed that this VAT percentage should be 5. So we also need to, because before we used the VAT identifier blank here, we cannot use that again. So really, every time you make a new VAT line in this VAT posting setup, you should put something into this field. I'm just going to enter DOM 5%. It's not too important. It can be used, but we are not going to be using it. We're just putting it into to make NAV happy. So this should do it. Just to avoid getting another error message while we are at it, we know that when we post this invoice, it will book some purchase VAT. So let's just give it an account here, and let's use the same purchase VAT account as we did before. You might want to use another one, but it's not necessary for this example. We don't expect to have any sales VAT on electricity, so we'll leave that blank. Okay, and let's go back to the invoice. And once again, I'm just going to remove that one and put it in again. Okay, no error messages. So far, so good. So we would like to have one electricity bill. Let's say the electricity bill is for 1,000 before VAT. And if we look at the VAT by going to statistics here, we can see that it has actually calculated 5%, which is 50. So this looks good so far. So let's try and post it and see if we can get through with this. Oh, we just have to indicate a vendor invoice number. Anything really, like that. Okay, next error message. General product posting group must have a value in purchase line. So what this is saying is that we don't have a product posting group here. And that is probably true. Well, it is true, otherwise the error message wouldn't come. And the way to avoid this, or the way to actually get a product posting group into this line, is to set it up on the GL account before we pull it into the purchase invoice. So once again, we have to go back to the electricity account, click Advanced and Edit, and we can see that it doesn't have a product posting group. It actually doesn't need anything from the product posting group in this posting situation, but NAV is a little bit strict with these checks, so we are forced to put this in. So let's see what we can choose here. I actually set up one before. All I did was click New, and then let's just to be very strict, we'll put one in here, O expenses, and we'll click OK. And OK to that GL account, and cancel. And once again, let's just take this, copy that one, Control C, remove it, and get that line out of the way and put it in again. Now we get another error message. So why are we getting this? Well, because when we put in on our GL account here, when we put in the product posting group here, it actually blanked out the VAT product posting group. And the reason it does that is because if we go into advanced, you see default VAT product posting group is blank. So when we put this in, it blanked this out. So we just have to put that in again. 5%. Okay. Alright. And get rid of that again. And put it in again. Okay. One of those and 1,000. Like this. Let's just verify the VAT, 50 pounds, dollars. And let's try to book this again. General product posting group does not posting setup does not exist. So it's saying the combination between domestic business posting group and O expenses in product posting group does not exist. So unfortunately, we just have to go to general posting setup and put in a line like that. Actually, let's just see if we can maintain this error message while we fix it. We probably can't. No. Anyways, domestic and O expenses. So, general posting setup. Domestic and O expenses. No, it's not there. So we need to put in a new one. My fault. New one. It needs to be domestic and O expenses. And actually, we don't need to set up any of these accounts. It just needs to be happy that this line exists in the setup. So if we go back to the purchase invoice here and post, it's going through. Alright, so let's just go and have a look at the posted purchase invoice and see what implications this had. Once again, I'm challenged when I have to find the invoice. ODOM, so let's just put a filter on this one. ODOM for, and we should have for 1,000, so it's this one. Double click that one, and yeah, we have some electricity here. Let's navigate on this one and see what GL entries we've got. We've got some, we don't have 5 as we usually do with the item postings, but we have some, we have three entries into the GL, into our chart of accounts. And this would be the VAT, the VAT entry. We'll go and have a look at that as well. We also have a VAT entry here, and this is saying that yeah, we have a base of which is the amount before VAT, and we have the actual VAT amount here. It's normal. It's a normal VAT calculation, purchase invoice, and we'll yeah. And actually, what I want to show here is that this is not closed yet. So this is still open. This means that the VAT settlement batch job, when we run this again, it will pick this line up and it will put a check mark in this field when it is done with it. So we'll just pay attention to this field when we have run the calculate VAT settlement batch job. So let's go out. I'm just going to go into the chart of accounts and also show you we were booking on in June. So if we go into chart of accounts, here. We should see, yeah, another, once again, although we've already cleared out these accounts for June, because we just booked or posted another purchase invoice, we have more VAT now. So we need to clear this out one more time. This also really means that you can, although you have run the batch job once, you can still post in the same month, but you will just have to rerun it. And as was the case before, the intention of running the batch job is to move these 50 down to this account, so you can see how much you either need to pay, or actually in this case we need to get back from the VAT authorities. We need to get this back because we've had much more purchase VAT than we have had sales VAT. So let's run the settlement account and observe how these 50 pounds or dollars are moved down here. So VAT settlement. Actually, before we do that, we would have to go into the VAT statement. VAT statement, because first we need to we want to report this VAT. We want to open our go into our tax website and report that we actually had some extra VAT that we were not aware of the first time we turned it in, or we put it in. So VAT statements, let's have a preview on this one. First edit. So right now we just have lines with normal sales VAT, which is usually for items, and normal purchase VAT, which is also for items. And this is for the 20% combinations. So we need to put in a line that will pick up the VAT that we just booked when booking for electricity. So let's first modify this one and call this row, this total row, I would like to change that to 100, because then we can input a new line and call this 30. And we'll call this electricity. And the idea, the reason why we want to put this in separately is because, well, first of all, it will not be caught up in this one because it has different VAT posting groups here. But secondly, we want it to be represented separately because we need to report specifically how much electricity or VAT we have had on electricity expenses. So it's still purchase though, and the VAT business posting group was O domestic, and the VAT product posting group was this new one that we created, 5%. We also want this line to show the amount, which is it's the VAT. It's not the before VAT amount. So the VAT amount here, and really that should do it. Maybe we would also just like to summarize this one and include that electricity VAT. So we put in another vertical line here and 30 and like this. So let's preview this. We have 40 and 20, and it looks like we are looking at both open and closed ones, and we're looking at before and within period. So let's just put in the date filter here, 01, 06, 15 up until 30, 06, 15. For some reason it is not showing this one, and what are we going to do about that? Well, let me see. Well, it looks like we have account total in here, so that's a pretty good bet. Just gonna go back here and change this and see if that shouldn't correct it. 5% amount, like this. That looks about right. Oh, we still don't have it. Let's see what else could be wrong here. Well, let's just put in that date because sometimes it's 30, 06, 15. That's still not the case. VAT Product Posting Group. Sorry about this. Okay, now it's working. Yeah. 50, and because we are now included this row 30, we'll see the total down here. So this means that we can now report on this. Actually, if you look at this filter up here, you can now change this to show us only open entries. And because we haven't created or run the batch job, the settlement batch job for this electricity, we can see this now. You can also, I also want to show you that you can go in and you can see the entries that lie behind here. And if you really want to see why these lines, or why it has found this line, if this is showing you something else than you would expect, the key is to expand the filters here and then look at what filters it has set. And if you find that some of these filters are incorrect, well, that's your reason. And that's ultimately the reason why it picks up 50 here, or 100 here, or 200 here, or whatever the amounts are. So let's close this down, and I'll just also run this VAT statement. It's basically the same. It's the same report, just in a report format. So starting date, ending date. Well, let's just run it as it is here. And we'll see, because it only shows us the open ones, we have those 50. It will show you the same as when you preview it, but some people like to have it in paper. So let's close this one down and run the VAT batch job and see what the implications that has. So we want to run it for no starting date. We want to collect any VAT changes that have been in the past. Maybe we've booked, as is the case here, we've just booked another purchase invoice, and we need to catch that. Sometimes you can get a little bit stuck if you've closed off a month, but yeah, in this case we'll run it with no starting date, and we would like all this, well, in this case it should be only 50, but we wanted to move it to the settlement account, which is 2035 here. We also wanted to post. So preview, yes please. And yeah, this just shows us that it has picked up on those 50. So if we go to our VAT entries here, and we look at this last one, well actually second last one. The first thing I want to show you is that this has now been closed. So before, I don't know if you remember, but otherwise you can go back, this was open. We can also see that this has been settled or closed by entry number 76, which happens to be the one right below it. This represents the batch job. So it's been closed now, and if we go to our chart of accounts, and we will now see that our VAT has dropped to 0, and it has been moved down to this account. We can even look at the entries behind here, and most likely it's the last one. So this was when we booked the invoice, the actual invoice, and this was when we pulled it out with the settlement batch job. And we can probably see the same, something similar here. If we look at the VAT owed, we have the last one here is for 15 worth. You'll see this one up here, but that's because I did this by myself before. So that concludes the second transaction, and all you have to do now is report how your VAT, and then eventually pay what you owe or receive what you are owed from the VAT authorities. Okay, so in this second bonus round, I am going to register 2 item sales, 1 item purchase, 1 electricity to a GL account, and look at the VAT implications for this one. So the purpose of this case is just to get a few more transactions and see how it looks when you have more transactions. Okay, so let's get these transactions booked in. I'll just verify that my work date is in June. The 9th of June, that looks fine. So let's get the first sales invoice booked in here and give that some random number and use our ODAM customer and put in an item, our O book here, and let's have one of those and put that in for 20. And post that. Oh, let's just verify the VAT. Looks fine. Post. Alright, and let's put in another one. And our ODAM customer. And sell the same O book here for one of those, and instead of 20 we'll sell it for 25. Post. Yes. And then let's do the item, the purchase. So let's register a purchase invoice. And it will be our O book again, one of those. Let's say 10. It's cheap today. Oh, we don't want line discount. Direct unit cost, like this, and then let's check the VAT. Looks decent, and the date is fine. Post. Yes. Vendor invoice number must have a value. Okay. And then let's purchase some electricity. Oh, purchase invoices, so this should be fine. And again, put in a random number, use our O domestic vendor, choose a GL account, and have this one hit the electricity cost. There we go. One of those and 100 worth of that. Post. Okay. Okay, so that does it for registering the 4 transactions. Okay, so let's go and see what implications this has had. So let's start with our VAT entries. And if we scroll all the way to the bottom here, we should see 4 new ones which are all still open. So it's these ones. We've got we've got 2 sales, 4 and 5 worth in VAT, based on a base of 20 and 25, so before VAT. We got some purchase of a book worth 10, and it has calculated $2 or pounds in VAT. And we've got a purchase of 100, which it has calculated 5, because the electricity was 5% VAT. So this looks all fine and about right. So let's go and have a look at the VAT statement. And if we choose our O state here and edit VAT statement, the lines, obviously, I don't know if it's clear enough, but these lines only have to be set up once, and then you will be able to use this statement every month. You don't have to modify these things every month. So this is why I'm saying that your VAT reporting shouldn't really take much more than 5 minutes, provided that you have registered your VAT correctly during the month. If we preview this one, we now see that we've got some sales VAT again. We've got 9 worth of VAT, and I think that's about right, because one of the sales transactions had 5 pounds worth of VAT, and the other one has 4. So this looks correct. Then we've got some purchase VAT, and based on the $10 or pounds that we sold, that we purchased for, the 2 makes good sense. We can have a look here, and we'll see it. Yeah. So then we have our electricity here and the total. So this is how it looks when we've got slightly more transactions. Obviously, if you have, let's go just back to this VAT statement. If you have VAT and you have multiple different VAT posting groups and multiple VAT posting product posting groups, you would have to have one line per combination of the 2. And that might be slightly too detailed for your reporting needs. So this is why you would combine all of those normal sales VAT lines just in one row, and you would set it up like this row has been done, with the row totaling, where you indicate each of those sales VAT lines. And you could do the same with a purchase VAT, so that you have a good way to create this VAT statement is to consider the first maybe 10, 15, 20 lines here as your raw material, and then down in the second section here, this is where you combine or pick up combine the different lines from the first section, so that it is directly transferable into your VAT statement that you need to send off to the tax authorities, or to submit online on your online VAT statement. So let's get that batch job run and see how that closes off the VAT entries and does its job. So again, no starting date. We want to catch everything, all historical VAT entries that have not yet been closed, but we do not want to catch any ones that have been registered after June. So this looks about right. We still wanted to transfer all those amounts to 2035, which is our settlement account here. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and make it post right away. Preview, calculate and post VAT statement, yes please. And we'll just get a report of the VAT entries it picked up. And this also looks quite familiar. Yeah. So let's go and have a look at the VAT entries. And hopefully you should see that the 4 last lines, well actually you will see the 4 last lines. Let me just see where they are. It's not these 4, obviously. It is these 4 that we booked or posted before, and they are now closed, and they have been closed by these 3 settlement entries. So we got a settlement entry for probably for this electricity. We've got a settlement line for the purchase, and then we've got a settlement line for the 2 sales transactions. So we can also see that the 2 sales transactions have been settled by this 83, which is the last settlement line created by the batch job. And if we go to our GL chart of accounts, we'll see that we don't have any VAT here, but yeah, we would have had that if we had checked. I didn't show you that, but this was the second bonus round, and I hope it was helpful.